Hello and welcome, I'm Marina Kim with the latest updates from Kazakhstan. Russian Federal Communication Committee Roskomnadzor has revoked the cable license of K+ following the press conference Is IPTV outlawed, organized by the channel's team in Moscow on May 27th. The full story is next.
Completely unexpectedly, Roskomnadzor asked K+ for the broadcasting license in IP networks, seemingly forgetting that such documents do not yet exist in Russia. K+, a channel known for always following the directions of the regulator, asked the parents to suspend the regional broadcasting until the situation will be clarified by Roskomnadzor.
In the past, we have already contacted Roskomnadzor's licensing department asking for the clarification on how we can license IPTV and digital broadcasting. They told us that IPTV or digital broadcasting are not being licensed, as this issue has not been resolved yet.
Roskomnadzor never explained how to broadcast legally in IP networks, choosing not to investigate the cause of misunderstanding. The regulator simply cancelled the existing cable license of K+. Coincidentally, this happens every day the channel team held a press conference to discuss the problem with other market participants. It is still not clear why Roskomnadzor acted so hostilely. Is it possible that someone manipulated the Russian organization? Experts and lawyers are now concerned with these issues, since the situation has become a precedent. Before K+, no other media outlets lost broadcasting rights due to the absence of their additional IPTV license, which is not impossible to obtain.
I believe the legislation is underdeveloped, and the position of Roskomnadzor is not really clear, while the broadcaster becomes the victim of the situation. The only thing to do now is to look for justice in court. Arbitrages do try to protect smaller businesses, but the statistics in cases involving Roskomnadzor is absolutely not in favor of outlets.
Despite what statistics say, K+ do not intend to give up and will assert the right of its Russian viewers to obtain accurate information about the life in Central Asia. The channel has already filed the suit to the Court of Arbitrary to prove the illegality of Roskomnadzor's claims.
Members of Kazakh opposition and public associations demand to revoke the infamous bill on the leader of the nation, saying that the law on the first president already undermines the constitutional equality of the citizens. The introduction of the new status will only lead to the establishment of an authoritarian regime in the country.
Kazakhstan democratic community is attempting to initiate a national referendum. The appeal to the fellow citizens refers to the necessity of early termination of power of the first president. We categorically disagree with the current dictatorship of one person, as well as violation of rights of the many. Therefore, we can call for abolishing of bills of the leader of the nation and his property, as well as law on the first president.
This is a very complicated process, especially seeing how the attempt of the land referendum went. Also, the legislation on the initiation of referendums has been considerably tightened, and in the end, only Nazarbayev himself can make the final decision on the matter. Nevertheless, we see no other way for the people to express their opinion today.
The appeal was signed by the leaders of public organization as well as the political ally Narodovlastie, 9 people in total. Not everyone in the streets heard about the new referendum initiatives, but people still have different opinions on Nazarbayev's presidency.
We don't need this referendum. We're lucky to have our president. His entourage should be fired. This is what needs to be done. There are people among the elite who will make this decision, not ordinary people. I will not answer this question.
The Central Election Commission, a state body directly responsible for referendums, has not received the appeals yet. This was confirmed by the organization public information officer, who wished to remain anonymous.
The ex-head of the Aktubinsk branch of the Social Democratic Party Azat Aidos Sadikov was released from jail on Friday. He confirmed being charged with hooliganism. Sadikov claims that the actions of law enforcement agencies are a pure provocation. In response, representatives of the Internal Affairs Department say the investigation will reveal the truth.
Democrat Aidos Sadikov was released from the isolation ward on his own recognizance. On Thursday, the police suspected Sadikov of starting a fight and initiated a criminal case of charging a hooliganism. Later, the former head of the local branch of the Social Democratic Party, Azat, was placed behind the bars.
I completely disagree with the accusations and consider all of this a provocation set up by the National Security Committee to finally solve the problem by imprisoning me.
According to Sadikov, the incident happened when he was leaving a gym. The police overpowered him, beat him up and handcuffed the politician. Officers even attempted to plant a cell phone into his pocket, and only the presence of TV cameras saved the oppositionist. Doctors at the scene ascertained Sadikov's aggression, but the police still denied the accusation of beating the politician and refused to voice their version of incident. The press service head of the Aktubinsk Regional Internal Affairs Department, Almat Amangaliyev, reported that the investigation is underway and promised to announce its results later.
We work on this case right now. I will give you all the details on Monday.
Activists of the Human Rights Bureau consider Sadikov's detention to be a violation of civil liberties. Just recently, experts reported the results of monitoring on the arrest sanctioned by courts, and Sadikov's case is a classical example. If the police beat and tried to slip him a cell phone, the opposition should consider filing a lawsuit and complain to the Bureau.
It is clear that there was a violation of human rights, but which ones exactly can be found out only after looking through all of the case documents, or at least his complaint.
Aydos Sadikov intends to prove his innocence. The Social Democratic Party Azad prefers not to comment on the case at present.
Interest holders from Astana are more open about their future plans. They intend to create a public movement and call for the population in the country's regions to follow their example. People see this as the only way to achieve the revocation of the infamous government decree which deprives people of the right to own additional apartments.
Where can I earn money to buy another flat?
Astana's interest holders have united against the government. People are dissatisfied with the cabinet's decree, according to which interest holders are allowed to have no more than one apartment.
We appeal to the court in accordance with our current legislation to recognize this decision invalid, as it violates the rights of our core investors. Today we have received a reply with a refusal to meet our demands.
The government keeps silence on the matter, although prosecutors have suspected orders until the end of the inspection initiated by the parliament. In turn, interest holders wrote an appeal to the president asking him to initiate the financial review of spending of anti-crisis funds allocated to developers.
25% of co-investors of unfinished projects have not received even a single apartment. Thus, we asked for agreements to be signed with our interest holders in order to seek other available apartments.
Interest holders state that they're very determined in their actions. On May 18, they have already picked the government building. Now people decided to hold demonstrations and rallies on a regular basis on the 6th of each month. In case they will be ignored again, they threaten to organize a hunger strike on the roof of unfinished skyscraper.
After not being paid their salaries for several years, the workers of a brick factory in Ust-Kamenogorsk went on strike this Friday. Apparently, the financial issue could not have been resolved by the factory management or local authorities. Find out more from the next report.
Brick factory workers are striking in Ust-Kamenogorsk, demanding to be paid for their last 3 years. The enterprise owed them more than $660,000. In protest, the employees decided to block the road near the factory.
I can't look my wife in the eyes because she's the breadwinner now.
Workers say that appeals to the local authorities, prosecutor's office and Department of Labor have brought no results, while the management of the enterprise, the joint stock company Vostok Complex, refers to the economic crisis. In order to resolve this situation, the factory was even temporarily leased out, but the company from Astana also failed to pay the people.
The leaseholder alone owes around $50,000.
The strikers were offered an alternative, namely to be paid in bricks. The management attempted to persuade people to set up an initiative group, sell the factory product and then share the received money. The employees, however, did not support the idea.
This is nonsense. There are not many bricks in the yard and we will not make a lot of money.
After learning about the strikers' intention to block the road, members of the city council as well as the deputy mayor promised to solve the problem by the next week and asked people to stop their protest.
I can't allow you to block the street. You should not hamper the city traffic and isolate the city. We are forced to do this.
The workers dispersed after believing the authorities once again. They, however, promised to block another street if the problem will not be solved in a week.